What are you focusing on right now?
That's such an interesting question.
What I'm focusing on right now is
What I'm focusing on right now is
Right now, I am focusing on
and that's what I'm focusing on.
We're both focusing on it, actually.
The number one thing I'm focusing on is
So that's where I'm focusing at the moment.
What is it that I'm focusing on?
There's quite a lot that I'm focusing on at the moment.
my focus is just on
I'm always focused on
What I am focusing on right now is
That is my focus at the moment.
Real experiences, deep insights, and powerful perspectives from people who've chosen to live and work with purpose. Every answer tells a different story, and every story holds a clue to living with greater intention. This is episode 500 of Focus on Why. Feeling stuck or unfulfilled? Searching for more meaning in your work and life? Wondering what's next? You're not alone, and you're in the right place. This is Focus on Why, the podcast that turns reflection into action. I'm Amy Rowlinson, and each week I dive deep with guests who've chosen to live and work with purpose. Together we explore what drives them, shapes their decisions, and gives their life meaning. Through real stories and honest conversations, you'll discover how to gain clarity, make confident choices, and create a life that truly matters. Have a purpose, have a plan, focus on why. Before we dive in, do you need help creating a more purposeful way of life? Through one-to-one coaching, I can help you clarify your why and create a plan that aligns your values with your work. Book a free 30-minute discovery call with me today. The booking link is in the show notes. Hello and welcome to episode 500 of Focus on Why. 500 episodes. Just saying that out loud feels so significant as a milestone. Thousands of hours invested, not just in the recording of these episodes, but all of the guest qualifying pre-calls that I have, the behind-the-scenes editing that goes on, the artwork creation, the writing of show notes, the producing of my own solo Reflection with Action episodes. And add to that all of the sharing that I do on social media and how I repurpose the content for my weekly Friday Focus newsletters. There is so much here. And when I step outside the frame, I can see this for what it is, a monumental body of work. 6 years of conversations where hundreds of people have paused long enough to reflect on why they do what they do and been brave enough to share that honestly with you and me. In April 2020, I created this podcast with a simple intention to explore why we do what we do. Not the job titles or the achievements, but the meaning underneath. To unearth the moments that shaped people, the experiences that redirected their lives, and the why beneath it all. When I began, I couldn't have imagined where it would lead. What I did know was that I was curious about what sits underneath success, curious about motivation, meaning, purpose, fulfillment, curious about the moments that quietly change the direction of our lives. And here we are, 500 episodes later. I can confidently say this podcast has shaped me just as much as it's likely shaped my listeners. But today isn't about nostalgia, nor is it about revisiting individual episodes or listing every guest who's featured. This episode is about stepping back and asking, what have we really learned? What patterns have emerged? What truths keep showing up regardless of the industry, the background, or life story? Because when you listen deeply to hundreds of stories, the same messages rise to the surface. The details differ, but the truths don't. Across all these episodes, there's been one message which has risen above all, and that's the transformative power of lived experience. So often we're taught to look outward for qualifications, degrees, accolades, validation from others, and yet your lived experience is your qualification. It's not the impressive moments or dramatic events that forge your purpose, but those quiet, everyday chapters that test and shape you. In the past, I too have minimized periods of uncertainty or doubt, keen to spotlight the successes and gloss over the times I felt stuck or lost. Reflecting on this milestone, I realized those very moments, those stumbles, the shifts, the uncomfortable pivots, are where my genuine purpose resides. They're not reasons to feel behind. They're the roots of everything meaningful I do. Through these 500 conversations, I've witnessed a universal truth. It's the struggles, the setbacks, and the unexpected turns that quietly become the foundation of your most significant contributions. Whether it's supporting others after experiencing burnout, building inclusive communities from feeling unseen, or mentoring out of early hardships, your unique journey qualifies you in ways no certificate ever could. So it's from these 500 episodes that I've selected 7 common truths. So here they are. Truth 1. Purpose is revealed through living, not found by thinking alone. Very few people find their purpose by sitting down one day and thinking harder. None of my guests started their journey with absolute clarity, with a perfectly articulated why and a perfectly mapped out plan. Instead, they followed curiosity before clarity. They made decisions without guarantees, and they acted before they felt ready. Only later were they able to look back and connect the dots to understand why it all mattered to them. As I share in my book, Focus on Why, Create a Purposeful Way of Life, purpose isn't something you design in isolation. It's something you uncover by engaging with life, challenging the status quo, and capturing who you're becoming. So often people think they need certainty before they move, but what these conversations have shown me is that clarity is usually the result of movement, not the starting point. Perhaps most reassuring of all, purpose has been allowed to evolve. In fact, it absolutely will evolve. It's not static, it's not fixed. And what mattered to you 10 years ago doesn't have to define your future. What matters to you at each stage of life will shift as you grow, learn, and change. Growth reshapes and refines your why. And that's not failure, nor does it mean that you've lost your way. This is alignment with values, your values. Purpose is revealed after action, not before it. Purpose isn't a destination, it's a lifelong relationship. And this brings me to truth 2. Your why is rooted in lived experience. A recurring pattern across these conversations is how deeply connected purpose is to what people have lived through. Personal challenges they didn't choose, loss, feeling overlooked, misunderstood or stuck, experiences they wouldn't wish on anyone else. Many of my guests have spoken about moments that they never expected to define them, events they once tried to minimize or move past, and yet those same experiences have become the foundation of their most meaningful work. Burnout has led to well-being support. Feeling unseen has led to creating inclusive spaces. Early struggles have led to mentoring with empathy. Your struggles don't disqualify you, they qualify you. Your experiences shape your perspective, and perspective shapes purpose. Your story matters, not because it's dramatic or impressive, but because it's yours. And what's key is to know that within your individual story are clues to what you care about most. Truth 3 is success without purpose feels empty. Across hundreds of conversations, one tension kept appearing. Many of my guests have spoken openly about burnout, misalignment, and how success didn't satisfy them. They shared how they achieved what society labels as success, and yet they still felt something was missing. They'd reached significant milestones. They had external validation. Yet external validation was never enough on its own. They'd done everything right. They had the title, the income, the recognition, but not the fulfillment. There was a quiet disconnect. Success without meaning felt hollow. Achievement without alignment eventually becomes exhausting. And this is a familiar pattern to me personally and professionally, as many of my coaching clients share how they've experienced this lack of fulfillment. And this is why I created the Focus on Why Meaningful Success model. Meaningful success isn't about more, it's about clarity, alignment, contribution, and sustainability. Meaningful success matters, and these are the 4 core elements that I've identified. Clarity, knowing what truly matters to you. Alignment, making choices that reflect those values. Contribution, using your strengths in service of something bigger. Sustainability, protecting health, well-being, and relationships. If success costs you your values, well-being, relationships, or sense of self, it eventually asks for payment. To feel fulfilled, stop chasing more, start choosing better. This approach is the one I use in coaching, helping people to discover what's theirs to focus on and what can be left behind. If you'd like to explore what meaningful success means to you, you'll find a Calendly link in the show notes and book in a conversation with me today. Next is Truth 4. Courage comes before confidence. Almost every guest admitted they didn't feel confident when they started. They felt uncertain, afraid, and unsure. They even doubted themselves, questioning whether they were ready. But they took action anyway. Confidence didn't lead them, courage did. Confidence came later as a byproduct of experience, learning, and resilience. This idea that confidence comes first is one of the biggest myths in personal development. Purpose motivates action despite fear. Confidence follows action. Courage comes from values, not certainty. Confidence isn't your starting point, nor is it a prerequisite. It's your reward for showing up and for living and working with purpose. Truth 5. Alignment beats hustle. This podcast was born during lockdown when hustle culture felt unavoidable. Many people were forced to pivot, shift, adapt overnight. I know because I was one of them. Yet, I've been consistent with my message right from the very first guest episode. That message was stop, pause, breathe, continue. Over time, the most fulfilled people haven't been the busiest. They've not been constantly chasing the next thing. They've slowed down, challenged the hustle culture, questioned busyness as a measure of worth, and they've redefined productivity to protect their energy. They've learned the power of saying no. They've prioritized alignment over constant motion. Meaningful success isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters. When your work aligns with your values, decisions become clear and life feels lighter and more sustainable. Truth 6. Purpose lives in service. When guests spoke about purpose, they rarely spoke about themselves. No ego or need for external recognition. Instead, they talk about impact, contribution, making a difference, helping others. No one builds purpose alone. Mentors, peers, communities, families, friends, honest conversations were turning points for everyone. They've talked about solving problems which mattered to them. The question shifted from what do I want to who does this help? They focused on collaboration, not isolation. Purpose grows when it's pointed outward. It doesn't need a spotlight. Some of the most meaningful work happens quietly, consistently, and without applause. Instead, purpose acts as a lighthouse, and it shines its light on what's possible with a focus on why. When purpose is rooted in service, fulfillment follows naturally. Truth 7. Purpose is something you practice daily. Purpose isn't something you announce once. It shows up in your everyday choices, in what you prioritize, in what you say yes to and what you protect with a no, and in how you treat people. Purpose lives in the small moments most people never see. It's those small, consistent choices which lead you to create a purposeful way of life which feels aligned over time. And before I close this episode and you move on with your day, I'd like to invite you to pause for a moment for a reflection with action using these 4 steps. Step 1. Reflect. Ask yourself, what experiences have shaped me most? What challenges have taught me something valuable that I now carry forward? Step 2. Notice. Where do I feel energized, not just busy? What conversations or activities make time disappear and light me up? Step 3. Align. Where might I be saying yes out of habit rather than intention? What would meaningful success look like for me right now, not later? And finally, step 4. Act. What's one small choice I can make this week that better reflects my why? If you want support taking that reflection into aligned action, that's exactly what I can help you with through my coaching work. Together we uncover your why, clarify your priorities, and create practical steps that lead to real, sustainable change. Again, there's a link in the show notes. Book in a free call with me today and we can discuss your next steps towards creating a purposeful way of life. Just one step, that's all it takes. Purpose doesn't require a dramatic leap. It starts with making an honest step towards what matters to you. So to summarize my findings, the 7 truths from these 500 episodes of Focus on Why, here they are. 1. Purpose is revealed through living, not thinking alone. 2. Confidence comes because of action, not before it. 3. Success without alignment always asks for payment. 4. Your lived experience is your qualification. 5. Meaningful success is about what matters, not more. 6. Service deepens fulfillment. 7. Purpose is practiced daily. So that's it, 500 episodes. Before I go, I'd just like to say to every guest who's trusted me with sharing their story on this platform, thank you. To every listener who has reflected, questioned, and grown alongside the podcast, thank you. If there's one message I hope you take from these 500 episodes of Focus on Why, it's this. You don't need to have it all figured out. Your why doesn't need to be grand. It's okay if your why is simple. Purpose isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. So ask yourself, why does this matter to me, and who does it serve? Stay connected to what matters, because when you focus on why, meaningful success and fulfillment naturally follow. I wanted this episode to be your powerful reminder that you possess a story that matters, not because it's sensational, but because it's yours, uniquely shaped by your perspectives, values, and the lessons you choose to carry forward. So instead of chasing someone else's definition of success, what if you recognize the inherent wisdom in your own lived experiences? Where in your life have you dismissed or downplayed a difficult experience, and how might that very chapter qualify you to support or inspire others today? This week, take that one small step. Share a personal story, one that felt less like a success and more like a lesson, with a friend, a colleague, or even in your journal. Notice how articulating your own lived experience makes you feel, and consider how it might offer comfort or guidance to someone else on their path. So that's it, the wrapping up of episode 500. And I'll leave you with this final reflection with action. Do you know your focus on why? And if so, are you practicing it every day? And if not, reach out. I can help. That's a wrap for today, but the journey doesn't end here. Share your takeaways, leave a review, or post your insights. Your voice helps others discover the value of these stories. Want to dive deeper into purpose? Check the show notes for ways to work with me. Get a copy of my book, or to sign up for Friday Focus, my weekly newsletter packed with clarity and inspiration. Have a purpose, have a plan, focus on why.